What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, back with some more boxing. So I'm back with the latest What's Next. I gotta talk about the boy Keith, one-time Thurman. Hell of a performance from Keith Thurman. The thing I like about Thurman, um, he's not much with the gimmicks. He can sell himself. I think he's marketable. He's Puerto Rican. He's from Florida. He's well spoken. He has a lisp. Um, he gets the job done, and I think more of the emphasis is on actually what he's doing, and he looks really focused in there. He looks hungry. He has devastating power. He shows that he's not just a power puncher, um, like a Ruslan Provatnikov. No disrespect, because I like watching Ruslan also, but he shows more fundamentals, more elements to his game. When I first started seeing Keith Thurman, I thought he was really wide and throwing wild. He's taken that back a little bit, which is good. I've seen him face adversity, namely in his last two fights. He fought Diego Chavez last, and Chavez was unbeaten, showed he has punching power, he has a chin, and good boxing ability. And I believe Diego Chavez is also from Argentina. It's funny how tough these Argentinian fighters are. Sergio Martinez, yesterday, Marcos Maidana, Lucas Matisse was taking shots from Danny Garcia, never quit or gave up. Abu Gray, just a lot of tough guys from Argentina. So respect to the fighters from Argentina. Um, Keith Thurman was tested in that Diego Chavez fight. Before that, he fought Zibic, who is not like the biggest puncher or anything like that, but he's someone that can get you late if you get off of your game plan, because he can kind of demoralize you and demotivate you when a person like Keith Thurman, normally who's been knocking out people, can't seem to hurt you, can't seem to get you, and he went the distance. So it was good to see him remain composed and just stick to boxing, stick to a game plan instead of trying to overextend himself and like getting knocked out or embarrassed or not looking good because he's trying to go too far and force a knockout when it's not there. So really, in the last couple fights with Thurman, I've seen him steadily improving. Yesterday with Jesus Soto Caras, a veteran, a person who has a fucking chin. He has a Margarito type style, long body frame. He's fought at 154, moved back down to 147. He gave Marcos Maidana a tough fight. Um, he fought Gabe Rosado, was stopped by him. Dude has a chin, and again, he has that relentless pressure, and he's a volume puncher. Um, Kind of like a Margarito stalking type, knows how to cut the ring off. A lot of the Mexican fighters are great with pounding, thunderous body shots. So if Keith Thurman wasn't able to weather that early storm, he could have been in for a long night and possibly got stopped. In the first round, it looked like Soto Caras hit him with something that like really got his attention, really woke him up, buzzed him a little bit, and again he was able to stick to his game plan. At first, in the Keith Thurman Soto Caras fight, the first couple of rounds, Keith Thurman looked a little bit too jittery for me, kind of like how Shane Mosley used to fight in certain fights, looked real panicked like he was in the Pacquiao fight. I'm glad Keith Thurman was able to calm it down, take it down a notch, get back to the basics, and then the knockout came when the knockout came. And it did come, and it came in tremendous fashion. So, hell of a performance from Keith Thurman, just putting it all together. He's learning more and more at a pro level what it takes to be a world-class fighter, how to put the puzzle pieces together. Um, he's always entertaining because, I mean, you can expect a knockout or him to try to put a hurting on the person. He says he looks up to Mike Tyson. I've seen it in an interview. So he just comes to please. He comes to fight, and he seems a lot more focused on boxing than the extracurricular stuff like Adrian Broner. And Broner's a good fighter, even though Marcos Maidana ran through him. He's a good fighter. Maybe he bit off more than he could chew. Maybe his power didn't translate to 147. But Broner does a lot of extra outside of the ring, um, trying to joke around in the fight. These people are they don't want to lose. Even when you see like a Mayweather Canelo, someone who's like perfectly outclassed in a fight, I don't think it was much of Canelo didn't want to win. I mean, these people are trying to take Mayweather zero, or they're trying to beat these fighters. It's just a matter of not having the game plan or maybe even the skills to do it. So Broner, I just don't understand why he chooses to play games in the fight. Like these people are coming. Like when Marcos Maidana fought Devin Alexander, I think he wanted to get to Devin Alexander and land ferocious shots to win the fight. It just at the time he didn't have the stamina or the intelligence or whatever to do it. He wasn't with Robert Garcia. Didn't have the game plan. Whatever it was, got frustrated. Um, as far as Keith Thurman, like I said, exciting fighter. Definitely stole the show on the Broner Maidana fight. Him and Maidana, obviously, but I would say he was the ultimate scene stealer because we don't know as much about him. We knew Marcos Maidana fit right into the 147 division with his power. We knew he was tough as fuck. We knew he had a chin. Um, we knew he was steadily improving. But to me, I was impressed with Keith Thurman because we're still learning about him. We're still learning what he can do. And he went in against a veteran. Marcos Maidana, great performance. He did exactly what he worked on with Robert Garcia, and it showed. But I think we already knew a lot about Marcos Maidana. So to me, Keith Thurman was he was like the fighter that rose to the occasion more. Because Soto Karass, again, he's no pushover. He's a veteran. He has a chin. He's a volume puncher. He goes to the body. All things that could give you problems. And the other thing with Keith Thurman, he was throwing punches like his arms look like fucking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like he's throwing these sky hooks. And I'm like, what the fuck? One thing I will say in critique of Keith Thurman, I noticed he likes to back straight out. Like if you ever watch Michael Jackson moonwalk, how Michael Jackson just goes straight backwards. That's how he does. That's how Keith Thurman does, and that's something you definitely don't want, especially with Soto Karass, a person with a large frame, taller than you, and he's throwing hooks from the moon to try to land something. And I think that's how he got rocked the first time. So that's definitely something he needs to work on. Backing straight out, keep the chin tucked. Luckily, nobody's been able to exploit it to the point where they can defeat him at a pro level. But as he keeps moving up and up, backing straight the fuck up and squaring up as much as he does is not the best look, especially at a world-class elite level. So hopefully his trainers take a look at the footage, see what he did right, and continue to keep that consistent and see what he did wrong and try to work on some of those flaws. Other than that, Keith Thurman, great fighter, entertaining. I think he could sell tickets. And he just seems genuinely hungry. He's not with the bullshit and extracurricular. And I've been telling you guys about Keith Thurman for quite some time if you look at the videos on my channel. So props to Thurman, crowd pleaser, great performance. And I'm seeing him grow. And I love seeing maturity as a fighter when I get to see a Mikey Garcia or Keith Thurman steadily improving, steadily getting faced with adversity, finding a way to rise to the occasion. And that's exactly what Keith Thurman did against Soto Karass. Props to Soto Karass for stringing up some good wins. He had a good win, a good fight with Marcos Maidana. Then after that, he beat Selçuk Aydin, and then he also beat Berto handedly. He whooped Berto's ass. So props to Soto Karass for a game valiant, courageous effort. Wasn't enough yesterday. Keith Thurman came in for the kill, Mr. One Time. So it's looking like Keith Thurman's the real deal as far as next fights. There's a lot of great fights that could be made. He's had a pretty tough schedule if you think about it. Lately, last couple fights, he's definitely going up in terms of caliber of opponents. The Diego Chavez, who was the interim champion, had a belt. That was actually Paulie Malignaggi's mandatory, but Paulie went with the Adrian Broner fight because it was the money fight. So he took the more money instead of the mandatory. And then he lost to Broner, and then Broner lost to Maidana. Keith Thurman was scheduled to fight Maidana at one point. Maidana has a belt now, so that could be a unification bout at welterweight. Sean Porter has a belt. Sean Porter looked good against Devin Alexander. So there's all types of options for Keith Thurman as far as the next opponent. I think Amir Khan should stay away from a Keith Thurman just being a boxer puncher with a chin. I don't think that's a recipe for success, but I could be wrong. Amir Khan has speed and more experience at a pro level than Keith Thurman. I just think Keith Thurman would destroy Amir Khan from what I've seen of both fighters. And plus, Amir Khan, we don't know where his power is at 147. He hasn't fought yet. He moved up and announced that he moved up, but he hasn't fought yet. And his chin is just too chinny. He's too too shaky with the chin. So I think Keith Thurman would really like murder him. So there's a lot of good fights out there for him, and I'm just anxious for them. Let me know what you guys think of Keith Thurman. Leave a comment. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video's Ego signing off.